truth is, Mandani is very radical. He is committed to a level of change which is going to fail. While I think the president loves New York City, in the end, the president's not going to be able to save the city from a very rough ride when faced with somebody who I think is like most socialists, totally out of touch with reality. I think he has no notion of what it actually takes to have a successful New York City.
And that's the former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, with me here yesterday, unleashing on New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani as the Big Apple's new leader moves to implement his socialist policies. Recent polling finds more positive sentiment around socialism inside the Democrat Party. Obama's former economic advisor, Robert Wolf, met with the mayor-elect just ahead of the meeting with President Trump, reminding him that both sides desire a vibrant New York City. Joining me now is the man himself, 32 Advisors founder and Fox News contributor, Robert Wolf. Robert, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to see you, Maria.
Did the meeting between Mamdani and President Trump go as you expected?
It went better than expected. I mean, you know, I supported the meeting. We did the prep. I was very confident in the call with him that it was going to go well. I didn't predict the bromance. Listen, I think three things, Maria, and you pegged one. I mean, they both want New York City to succeed. As New York City's economy goes, the nation goes. I would say number two, President Trump likes winners. They were both huge underdogs when they ran. They both beat the establishment. So that was something that they can actually cheer each other about. And I think the most important thing, and actually to take the other side of Newt Gingrich, is they both have a real populist approach. President Trump is America first. Zohran Mandani is New York first. And their focus is laser on affordability. And both sides campaigned in a similar fashion. So, yes, I think there's a big difference between campaigning and governing. And so, but there's no question that the platform on affordability and housing and food and utilities is front and center.
By the way, they both are charmers, right? I mean, they've got their charm going on. Mamdani's a charmer, and certainly President Trump is always charming to people.
I mean, when I played golf with President Trump, he gave me a few gimmies on my golf course. So there you go, on his golf course.
Robert, you're the former CEO of UBS America. You are a Wall Street guy before you really got involved too much in politics. You just told me you prepped Mamdani for the meeting with President Trump. Does that mean you supported and endorsed Mamdani?
So listen, you know me, I'm pro-Israel. I'm a capitalist. My view is a little different take than a lot of the business community. I think they're coming my way. He was going to be the mayor, and we need the city of New York to be successful. We need the mayor to be successful. As I just mentioned, in this post-COVID world, I agree with this platform where affordability is front and center. If I can help him work with the private sector and do public-private partnerships, whether it's on mobility or whether it's on healthcare or whether it's on infrastructure, I'm going to raise my hand. I think being a wallflower, when you have the experience of at the intersection of public policy and business and not leaning in, I think it's foolish. If President Trump asked me to come to the White House tomorrow, I'd raise my hand and say, how can I help?
Yeah. No, I mean, and affordability is obviously the watchword going into the midterms, but the president has already done a lot for affordability. Do you agree with that? I mean, he's helped to get oil prices lower, food prices he's working on, the price of eggs he talks about a lot, but still, a lot of people are feeling stretched right now. But how has President Trump done on affordability?
You know, here's what I would say. The economy is incredibly bumpy. I actually think his economic team has done a bit of a disservice to him because they're out there saying costs are down, things are great, things are great. And then on the flip side, they're saying we need a Fed cut because if you need a Fed cut, it's because the economy doesn't feel so great. So you can't have it both ways. You and I, we always have said that across the board tariffs is actually not the best approach. Actually, blunt tariffs. That's why they're starting to reverse it. We don't make coffee. Why put a tariff on coffee? There's no question affordability is an issue. And I think they have to explain it differently. Yes, energy prices are down on oil, but Maria, utility prices are way up. And we should explain that whether it's the proliferation of crypto or the emergence of AI, That's why utilities are up. And maybe the president has a different take on it, where he starts charging some of these businesses that are actually taking over a lot of the utility usage differently, and maybe passes it on to the individual. I would also say, and you mentioned it, early on, the amount of spending in Washington's been insane. And DOGE was a great idea, but it wasn't executed that well. But today we had the budget deficit come out, the highest ever. We spend a crazy amount of money, both sides of the aisle. It's like $38 trillion. You know why the budget deficit was the highest today? Because of interest expense. So I actually would applaud we go back to DOGE, don't make it political, and make it really about government efficiency.
Yeah. No, look, I'm not sure I agree with you on tariffs, because I think this president has used tariffs incredibly effectively. I mean, he's using it to get his way on a lot of things. And now we're talking about $200 billion in revenue already collected, which they could actually use to pay down debt. So I think the tariffs have been very positive, even though there was all that hysteria about it earlier in April of this year. But I got to get your take on the Fed as well. And I spoke with Kevin Hassett, who is now the front runner for the chairman's job. He joined me on Sunday, and here's what he said. Watch. We know that you were on the short list to become potentially the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. When do you expect the president to tell us who he's chosen for the next chairman of the Fed job?
I think that the president is expecting to interview final candidates sometime over the next couple of months, and then we'll probably have a decision sometime soon around the new year. It could be tomorrow.
Would you expect that 2026 is a year of lowered interest rates?
Yes, I think that the big difference between the high growth from President Trump and the high growth we get sometimes from Democrats is that our growth comes from supply side policies that build factories. And when there's a big increase in supply, that drives down prices. And so we had really, really runaway growth before COVID and the Trump administration, more than $6,000 for the typical family in extra income, and inflation in the 1% range. And that's what we expect we're going to see again because of all the positive supply side policies for the big, beautiful bill and the tariff revenue reducing the deficit and so on.
Robert, your reaction, if in fact that materializes, that Kevin Hassett becomes the next chairman of the Fed?
Well, I've been on with Kevin on your show many times. Kevin and I are friends. And
That's
so
right.
I actually think he'd be a great choice for the Fed chair. He just needs to stay independent. I also agree that the Fed should be cutting rates. I actually think the economy feels like it's slowing. We had unemployment go to 4.4%. We certainly have the issues, like we mentioned before, in affordability. I think the Fed needs to, in my opinion, cut in December and continue to cut. So I align with where the president and Kevin Hassett and his team is. I just feel like if he's going to take the job, we need the independence of the Fed.
Yeah, all good points. Robert, it's great to see you. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thanks so much for weighing in on all of that. All right, we'll see you soon.
Nice seeing you.
Robert Wolf
Bye-bye.
joining us. We'll be right back. Stay with us.